When you think of Arsene Wenger, what does it make you feel? What do you think of?
I just see an aura. Arsene has something very special. When he's looking at you, he penetrates with his eyes. He lives football. He's so passionate when he talks. He's one of the most intelligent person that I have met in my life, and for me was an inspiration because he gave me the opportunity to play for this club, and he encouraged me to start to be coaching. So I'm all gratitude about him.
It must have been a big inspiration for you. In the film, which I've been lucky enough to see, he talks about the suffering he had to go through and the suffering his players had to go through to achieve what they achieved under him. Can you relate to that word, that suffering word?
But it's remarkable the way he did it. A lot of people suffer, and he shows all the time and starts to point in other direction. Arsene was sometimes even too protective of us when he was a manager, and he always tried to create a shield and an atmosphere around the team where he will be in charge and he would take a lot. And that's why players as well loved him so much.
What was that era like towards the end of his time at Arsenal when you were winning FA Cups all the time and you were lifting the FA Cup? What was that like?
Well, I think if you see how that team celebrated the first FA Cup after not winning a trophy for 10 years, it was for him. Generally, the players were so happy to win that trophy because we all knew how much he was suffering and how much the club needed to establish as well at the top again.
Very nice. Thanks for your time. And as we say on Zoom, one more from me. I was just reading on the website the other day that you've had a picture of Arsene put up as you come into the training ground with an inspirational quote from him. How did that come about and why did you want that to happen?
Because he needs to be more present, and a lot of things about him were gone, and I think it's time to bring him back. I think he needed his time as well after over 20 years at this level. But the players, when they see that, it's full of inspiration. Why he did, again, we will all benefit so much if he's closer to us. The players will love him. I know the impact that he could have still around the people, and obviously for our fans and the club will be another dimension.
I've been spending a lot of time watching you in the Arsene Wenger documentary, where you appear a lot, of course, a part of the Invincibles team. When you think of Arsene, what emotions come to your mind?
Well, for me, became like a person, a fantastic guy, which looks after people. So because everybody sees he's as a manager, as a good coach, as a brilliant coach, but I faced an experience with him which showed me like how you treat properly a football player as a person. So I have some difficult moments when I came here my first year with my families, the adaptation, injuries, and etc. And he's always been saying to me, Edu, you need the time. I want to look after you as a person first, because if you're right as a person, you're going to be fine as a footballer as well. So he's always been supporting me in every single step in the club. So just for me, it's quite important as well.
Mikel Arteta was just saying what an inspiration he's been to him as a coach and the manager, how he's trying to bring his influence back into the club with the picture at the training ground and so on. Do you think his values are still important to Arsenal?
Of course. Arsene is a part of the history of the club. He needs to be there. He needs to be people remember him. And it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have him around the club, because maybe I can remember someone as important as Arsene Wenger in Arsenal history.
The next thing will be a statue.
Yeah, I know.
What did Arsene Wenger mean to you, Pat? Obviously, quite late in your Arsenal career, you first met him.
Yeah, I mean to say he was fantastic whenever he first came, and I didn't know what was going to happen, and he just asked me to be one of the assistants as well.
And what a successful relationship turned out to be.
Well, I mean to say is as well, you can put it all down to Arsene, because he was the man, he was the leader, and he was the one that we all followed, and everybody knew what their jobs were, and we tried to do them as best we could.
In the film, we see some great Arsenal players like not Patrick Vieira, but like Tony Adams and Ian Wright saying Arsene who, and all the players. Were you like that too?
Yes, absolutely like that. I mean to say we didn't know who Arsene Wenger was, but we certainly knew who he was whenever he decided to call it a day.
I think David Dean said he knew he'd got the right man once you won the double in that first full season. And what was that like for you? How did that compare to winning the double as a player?
Oh, I mean to say we were very, very lucky to actually do that, and it was it's not as good as doing it whenever you're a player, because you've had something physically to actually do. But it's the next best thing, and please God, it happens to us pretty quickly.
Just a final question. There was talk of possibly having a statue for Arsene at the stadium alongside Vieira, Adams, and so on. Would you agree with that?
I would 100%. I would agree with it. After what he's actually done for the club itself, it's been remarkable what he did.